right. As always, I am Bob TalesbyBob.
I'm the Ask the Podcast, Derek.
And I'm Ben, the Wayward Wordsmith.
What? We're back. Oh my god, we're back. You cannot kill us. This podcast will live on long after I am dead.
In infamy.
Yeah. So you may have noticed that Tanya's voice got a little deeper, a little more masculine.
A little more sexy.
Yeah. So and you may be watching this and seeing that there's video. What? If you're listening on audio, super exciting. We now have a video component to this. So that's cool. Derek doesn't currently have a camera. Correction, Derek has a camera, but as usual, it's us. There were technical difficulties. So
I was about to say, Derek has two. The real question is, do either of them work?
Yeah.
Answer no. No, they don't.
Yeah. So the first couple episodes, because we record episodes in batches, so the first few episodes you will not see Derek's magnificent bearded face, but you will soon. But yeah, so we're back. This is season 6. You know us, we change seasons at the drop of a hat. And so because we've got a new co-host, we decided, fuck it, we're doing season 6. And there's going to be some changes. Changes. First off, we've already talked about the video. That's cool. That's an exciting change. Change 2, we're actually committing to sticking to a schedule, which we have not done since like season 2, maybe season 3. I don't know.
I feel like at some point we had a schedule.
We frequently have a schedule.
That's a good.
We just tend to ignore it.
Oh.
But we're committing to 2 episodes a month. The second and fourth Wednesday of every month, you will get a new episode from us. It'll drop like midnight a.m. on Wednesday. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, you'll be able to listen to us on your ride to work, for good or ill. What else? Oh, and the other change is how we're doing our short read tall glass. In the past, we've made an effort to go out and find free to read short stories online. And we did that because it was easy for people to go out and find them and read them. But few things. One, fair bit of work on me, and I'm lazy. 2, most of these short stories didn't have an audio component. Like there was no audio version of it. So we decided to bite the bullet and do something that we've talked about doing for literally years. And y'all may hate it, but fuck it, we're going to do it anyway. So we are going to stick to short story collections, and we're going to read every short story in a collection before we move on to the next one. And we are going to pick short story collections that have an ebook, an audiobook, and a print version, so that you will be able to ingest it however you want. And we will just do every short read episode, which will be every other episode. You will get we will do one story from that collection. So, big reveal. Drum roll. It's The Alchemy of Sorrow, a fantasy of sci-fi. Oh shit. God, if I could only read. The Alchemy of Sorrow, a fantasy and sci-fi anthology of grief and hope. Edited
Don't
by...
worry. Don't worry about it, Bob. You don't really need to read for a book podcast or anything. It's fine.
Yeah. No. So it's edited by Sarah Chorn and Virginia McLean. I'm going to read you the blurb real quick. Here be dragons and sorcery, time travel and sorrow, vicious garden gnomes, a grounded phoenix rider, a new mother consumed with vengeance, a dying god, soul magic. These stories wrestle with the experience of loss, of loved ones, of relationships, of a sense of self, of health, and forge a path to hope as characters fight their way forward. From bestsellers in SPFBO, that's self-published fantasy blog off, is what that stands for, finalists, to Rising Voices, 13 exceptionally talented authors explore the many facets of grief and healing through the lens of fantasy and sci-fi. It's got 4.7 stars on Amazon and 4.1 stars on Goodreads. And if you're befuddled, why are they so different? It's because Goodreads is savage, and the people on
I
there
like it.
hate everything.
My people. Yes.
Yeah. So there will be a link in the show notes for you to go out and get it. And if you're just like, you know what, to hell with that, I'm not going to buy this book using audio credit. That's fine. You can skip those episodes, or you can just listen to us talk and be like, oh, okay, I don't know what they're talking about, but they're funny while they're doing it. So, um, yeah.
Side note about the Audible credit there, you can actually buy the book for, I think it was $6.99 on Audible.
Oh,
So
perfect.
not worth using a credit for.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. So yeah, that is uh, and you may look up the table of contents. You may be able to find some of these stories published elsewhere for free. I don't know. I'm not doing that. But also the other thing is, like, this way, the folks that we're quote unquote profiting from, we don't make a profit from this. Is they get some money, so I don't know the royalty structure they have on this anthology, but I'm assuming that someone is getting some money profiting from this work. So that's where we're at. So
Also, if you're hesitant to kind of like jump into purchasing a anthology or anything like that, and you can just always listen to hear how we feel about it or what we say about the story, and then make your purchase decision on that. So maybe check us out, see if there's a couple of them in a row that sounded good. You can always go back and read those ones after you purchase it, and then catch up with us and meet us halfway and follow us moving forward if it sounds like your jam.
perfect, exactly. So we're so this episode, um, we are breaking with the norm because this is kind of the introduction to season 6 episode. But we gotta introduce Ben. We gotta get y'all a feel for Ben. So but just so y'all know, every episode is going to follow roughly the same structure. We're going to um, talk about some news articles that are relevant to our topics of either books, beards, or booze. And then we're going to go into either talking about the short story, or we're going to talk about whatever book related topic we have come up with. And we have some real doozies for this season lined up. It's gonna be fun. Derek's gonna hate me. So
I mean, that's par for the course. Like, it is what it is at this point.
yeah. So, but I figured we could briefly. It's been, I think, December of 2022 was the last time we had an episode come out. So it's been
Wow.
like almost a year and a half since, at the time this airs, it's been almost a year and a half. So, I thought maybe me and, like, no one cares about Ben yet. They will, Ben. They're going to care about you.
How
That's
dare
fair.
you, sir?
I'm fine with it.
Um, but I just thought maybe me and Derek might briefly kind of recap the highlights of the past year and a half. I'll go first since I'm putting him on the spot and didn't tell him I was going to do this. Well, first off, I'll say Tanya. If you're worried about her, don't. I'm not going to put her personal business out there, but she's had three very major three or four major life changes in the past time, and they've all been like to the good. um
Positive.
Very positive changes, and like that was part of why we didn't put out episodes, is because, hey, I was getting pretty busy. And spoiler, I got married. So part of me,
Woohoo!
yeah,
I
I had
can't believe that. I don't know how you pulled that off because
right.
she's way too cool for you.
Oh my god, I'm batting so far out of my league. It's insane. Um, but so because, like, I was getting married, I had a lot of stuff going on. Tanya had a lot of stuff going on. It just didn't. There was recording episodes was not going to happen, basically. And we just now got to the point where we checked in with. We were like, hey, I think things have settled down enough. We're going to start back recording. And we reached out to Tanya and we're like, hey, look, we understand, because her positive life changes are still ongoing. So it was like, if you don't feel like you have the time, that's fine. She was like, yeah, no. But we are hopeful that we're going to be able to get her on the occasional. We're going to bump her back down to unpaid intern and
Yes.
bring her on for an episode or two here and
Bring
there.
her on for our Dune movie reviews, right?
Oh my God, I will backhand the both of you. So, but yeah, no. The big things for me were I got married. That was the biggest. And then I've had 3 books come out since then. I had books 5 and 6 in the Jubal County saga come out, and then I released a book called Southern Sawdad, rhymes with crawdad. Looks like it's spelled like someone misspelled the word sausage. So, spoiler: if you search for this book on Amazon, it's going to say, "Did you mean Southern sausage?" Um, and who knows? Maybe some Southern sausage would
Maybe
be the
you
better
did.
purchase. Maybe you did.
Maybe you did.
But it is a collection of short stories and novellas set in the world of Jubal County, but does not feature Howard Marsh. It's a bunch of like sad boy stories. So, but that's also I changed jobs. I still work for the state. I still work for the man, but I changed agencies. So that was another reason why we didn't record. That was a lot going on there. So. Derek, do you have anything that you'd like to report? You can tell me to fuck off, but
No, I mean, I think right around that same time, I had just gotten a promotion
yep,
at work too, so I was kind of under the gun, and that has only continued to escalate. I'm
yeah,
not going to go into that, but I've been very busy with work, and things are only kind of increasing, and it's moving in the direction of more of the same.
yeah.
But then other than that, like, let's see what has happened.
Well,
Uh,
clearly you got the promotion, but it being the government, they didn't give you a big enough raise to afford a webcam.
oh God, no. For the amount of work that I'm having to put in, bruh, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yep,
But that's fine. That's cool. I don't mind investing. We're just we're gonna fix things. That's how this works.
yeah, yeah.
But so kind of working on things from that perspective. Took a while to kind of get back into the reading. I'm just now getting back into that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where we were. Were we? I don't know if I'd even started reading the Cradle
Sure.
series back before we left, but
I can't
well,
remember.
yeah, you'll be hearing a good bit
Yeah,
about the Will White Cradle
yeah.
series
Our
moving forward for me.
Yeah, our next episode will be our what we've been reading episode, so you can kind of hear what we've been reading recently. And we're going to do those every 6 months. Every 6 months, we're going to drop an episode where we just talk about what we have read over the previous 6 months, what we liked, what we didn't like, anything like that. Um, all right, so that's all the business. That's all the catch up. Let's dive into a regular episode. And here we go. I've got a doozy of a news piece for y'all. Um,
Okay.
all right. I know Derek likes a little bit of Judas Priest.
hmm
You Judas Priest fan, Ben, at all? You don't have to. You don't
Um,
have to. I'll admit I'm not a
not
huge
so
Judas
much.
Priest. Yeah. Well, anyway,
Eh,
their front man is Rob Halford. Um, he got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the same time that Dolly Parton did, and they met during that. Um, so Dolly Parton apparently came out with a rock album recently.
it's news to me.
She can do no wrong, so it must
Yeah.
be great.
Oh yeah. No. No.
Right.
No. And she invited a bunch of like different people on there, and because she met Rob Halford, she invited him to do a song on there. So, um, the headline for this one was Dolly Parton was tickling and cleaning Rob Halford's beard in studio.
I mean, that's the life right there.
I mean, the headline is really all you. This was not a super in-depth article,
Okay.
uh,
Right.
but this was a quote he told Metal Hammer magazine of their first meeting. She goes, "I love your beard," and she starts to clean my beard. It was so surreal. I'm meeting this living legend, and she's tickling my beard and going, "So you're going to sing some Jolene with me?" I was just floating.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it came with a picture of Rob Halford's beard. not just his beard. Obviously, it was Rob Halford, you know, but with his beard pictured. But the beard was the most important part, obviously. And yeah, it's a good beard. It's a good beard.
Okay, but let's address the most important thing here, right? If Dolly Parton wanted you to sing Jolene with her, you just do it. Doesn't matter if
Oh
you can
yeah.
sing. You just say yes, ma'am, and you sing the song.
Oh yeah. No, she can do no wrong. Uh, but yeah, I just now I'm gonna have to go and
I
check out
really want
this
to hear
rock
this.
album.
Yeah, I really have to hear this now.
Yeah. So it's out there. It exists. I
Huh.
don't know. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll
I'm
listen to it.
I'm still salty. Like I have a lot of bizarrely held rage against Judas Priest because they did Ripper Owens wrong. Not that I'm like a huge Ripper Owens fan. Like I liked like a couple of Iced Earth songs, but Melancholy,
I'm sorry, what now?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. They did him wrong. Rob Halford left. They recruited Ripper Owens, and then Rob was like, "Oh, I'll come back to Judas Priest," and they kicked Ripper out of the band to take Rob back.
Ah,
And it's like, I get it. I get it. You know, Rob Halford, kind of a bigger name, um, kind of integral to Judas Priest, but still, I just felt bad for Ripper. Um,
yeah, that's pretty dirty.
yeah, I thought
It
so.
would it would be like if Tanya's schedule suddenly freed up, and you're like, Ben, sorry, buddy,
Yeah, no, we'll never do
that's
that.
phone.
No,
If that happens, we're just going to go to 4 hosts.
exactly
Like
correct.
so,
That works.
yeah. But now we have video, so if we do bring her back on, she is going to have to put on a beard wig. Um,
Oh yes.
I love
also,
it.
Derek,
Yeah.
What's your hat situation?
I mean, I have some caps. I've got the hat that I wore in your wedding still, so I could always
Perfect.
wear that. Yeah,
Perfect. Yeah. So wear that. So then we'll all be three bearded white guys with roughly similar hats, so that we can confuse the masses.
that's
Um,
fair. I can take it. I mean, and honestly, if we're recording on Sundays, I can even be dressed up because I'll get in from church. I can just throw on the hat.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Derek is always so much better dressed than me.
Hmm.
Just in like whether he was at work beforehand or not. He's a dapper dude. He's a dapper dude. So, um,
Well, hats off to you, sir, but
No, no, hats
not me.
on to you, sir. That's what
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
yeah,
When I left my corporate job, I told myself, unless I have to, I'm in court at a funeral or a wedding, I'm not ever dressing up again. And by dressing up, I even mean like polos
Oh,
or
100%.
like, and I've kept that. I've kept to that up to this point.
See,
So,
yeah.
so I went the
yeah,
other way. Is the thing is, I used to work at a warehouse, and my outfit every day was basketball shorts, a t-shirt, and a baseball cap. And then I got
love it.
an office job, and I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable having to dress up, so I'm gonna at least wear a tie once a week so that I get comfortable with it because I know I'm gonna have to do it for big meetings sometimes. And then I got promoted, and I got promoted again. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna always wear a tie because it feels like I'm going in battle mode. So I'm always in the right mindset. But
Yeah.
now that's kind of carried over. So it's like, okay, I wear ties every day because I don't know when somebody's going
Mm.
to show up in my office and be like, we need to have a meeting. I'm like, well, I'm prepared. Okay.
Right.
Whereas me, I work in IT and have no contact with the public at large. Um, and so, but it's the state. We still have to. There is a dress code. And so like button-up shirts are appropriate. You know what they didn't clarify is that
Oh, no.
those button-up shirts, they never said they couldn't be Hawaiian shirts. So I wear a different Hawaiian shirt to work every day. Um, I got I got on
So
the
you're following the letter of the law, but not the spirit, is what
yeah.
I'm hearing.
Well, I got on the elevator to work on I think it was Thursday or Friday. Doesn't matter. One day last week, I got on the elevator, and two women got on before me, and they asked me, "Oh, what floor?" And I said 3. And so the third floor is where IT and human resources are. So she like hit 3, and she looked over at me and just like looked down, looked up, was like, programmer? And I was like, no, technical
But
writer.
IT.
Like, you're right on. You're right on IT though.
Right, right.
So
Hey, the only other way that could have gone is I'm going to HR for a meeting
Right.
for the way I'm dressed right now. So
right,
they gave you the benefit of the doubt. They're like, no, he's fine, he's okay.
yeah,
They're like, it is a button-up shirt.
Yeah.
It's cool.
yeah, yeah. So also they technically on paper, our agency has a rule that beards have to be like cannot be longer than like a quarter inch or like a
Oh, right. Because no, I didn't even think
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, because we have one job code that they are required to have super short beards at most, and so they were like, "Oh, we'll keep it fair," and everyone's got to go with that. Now that said, they haven't enforced it on me yet. Um, but if they enforce it on me, there's a bunch of folks in IT that would get caught up in the crossfire. So um, let's cross our fingers
Well,
for your
look,
dear old
I
Bob.
I I think they have more important things to worry about, like
Yeah.
the way people park. And like you got to be real careful about that. So let's
Oh my
just.
God. I'll say this. My job is brutal about parking. If you park in our parking deck and are over the line or too close to the line, they literally take a picture of your car and blast it in an email to every employee saying, come fix your shit. Uh, and my goal is to retire from this agency, never having been the source of one of those emails, because I would just die of embarrassment. Um, I
Wow.
like, I love it. It's savage, and it's fantastic.
It's savage. I mean, it's great as long as it's pointed at someone else, and that's one of those like I already I get to work early because it is who I am. So like the earlier I get there, the more options I have for parking spots. I would be getting there a half hour early every day so that I can make sure I got my comfortable parking spot. So there's no possible way I could accidentally get blown up in that email. That's
Yeah.
how I would do it.
So I too get to work pretty early. So that I get to work early so I can leave early so I can go pick up the kiddo from school. And I had my parking spot. It was, they're not assigned, but by God, that was my parking spot. I was the person that got there early enough in the morning. I always parked there. And the damn agency that runs that parking lot took my parking spot and assigned it to a different agency, and they actually put like reserved for your sister agency, and I was no longer allowed to park there. And now the closest parking spot to that, um, there are a bunch of like old men who all show up around the same time that like to park there. So I now have to race against a bunch of like 60-year-old guys who probably got up at like 4 that morning and went and got a biscuit and
Read the paper and argued
yeah,
about things before they even came in. Yeah.
yeah. So
The appropriate response to that is to just go into HR and be like, "Hey, this is really unfortunate, but I need to transfer to the sister organization so that I can keep my
Right.
parking spot.
I think
I don't make the rules. This is just
yeah,
what has to be done."
it's either that or I need to start getting up at 4 and joining those guys at Hardee's for a biscuit.
Who
So
doesn't like a biscuit? So I mean,
right, all right. So here it is. It's our time to get to know Ben Meeks,
Uh-oh.
our new co-host. Your I'm not gonna say your favorite host because clearly that's gonna be me.
Well, I
But
mean, I'm just starting, so by next episode that will be the case.
well, he hasn't burned any bridges yet.
you set a
Yeah.
bar. You
So
set a bar low enough, and
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
low bar. So all right, but we thought it'd be a good idea that if we threw some questions at Ben to so that when he like gives a review on something, you understand where he's coming from, so you know whether or not you need to listen to him. The quickest indicator is just listen to me, and if Ben says what I say, then obviously it's correct. But
incorrect.
that won't always be
Mm-mm.
the case. So, and Derek, you feel free to chime in any questions you have along the way. I have a preset list, but
Mhm.
first off, the most important question: How long have you had a beard?
I think it's around a decade now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't really remember exactly. I started off with a no shave November just to do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I never shaved again because it
I
was
like it.
like, what have I been doing with my life? I wish I had gone bearded when I was a teenager, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is never coming off.
Oh yeah. No, 100%. My lady wife told me that if I shave my beard, we're getting divorced. So, now spoiler,
Mm,
I had no plans to do so, but
yeah.
yes.
When did you start? When did you get your beard, Bob? I don't remember the first time you had a beard.
So I have not been totally clean shaven since 3 days before my high school graduation. Um,
Wow.
Now for most of I'd say probably the next, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years, it was mostly goatees, with sideburns of varying lengths and widths. I do like a good fat chop. If you want to know the person who has a face sculpted by God to hold some nice fat mutton chops, it's actually Derek. He rocked some fat chops there for a while,
It
and
it's
it was fucking glorious.
it's funny you mentioned that because the last time I was clean shaven was in 2012. I still have the pictures because I had a full beard and I shaved so that I could get chops, and I had chops for like a week just so that you guys would shut up about it, and then I let it grow back into a full beard.
Yeah, and if you notice the timeline of like when life started getting worse for all of us, it was probably around the week after Derek gave up on chops. So
Uh,
blame him.
Nice.
I apologize, everyone.
But yeah, I don't know. I've had a beard now, like a full beard. I don't know, a decade. Does that sound right? No, not that long. I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe. Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. I
Time
know. I know the
time is
first.
a flat circle.
Yeah, I know. I know the first time I grew a beard was in 2009, 2008, 2009 during the recession. When I got laid off, I just didn't have to shave,
Yeah,
so I just grew a beard and then just kept it even when I went back to work. So,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
haven't, except for that one time for the mutton chops. I was the last time I shaved anything down, and then I've had a full beard ever since.
yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a little over a decade for me because I'm thinking about it now. I had a beard in grad school, so, um,
Mhm.
so all right. What, Ben, is your favorite booze? And it doesn't have to be like a specific brand. It can be a type.
Well, okay. So I really like rum, but
Mm.
lately I have been getting into like sipping beverages a lot more, and this is the past, 5 years or so. So now I'm leaning more towards whiskeys.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, but my favorite beverage, which I actually don't have any of and haven't had any for a while, is B&B. Have you ever heard of B&B?
I no.
Negative.
Okay, it's awesome. Okay, it's Benedictine and brandy is what it is, but B&B is the name. And I discovered it because my Tai Chi teacher back in the day brought me back a bottle of B&B from the airport in Canada when he was on a trip as a thank you gift for helping out with class while he was out of town. I'm like, I don't, at this point in my life, I barely drank at all. I mean, I still barely drink, but you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it was the only bottle or only amount of alcohol I had in my apartment at that time, right? So, yeah, it's so good. Okay.
What is it?
So it is um it's like a spiced. Let's look up a description. Okay, have you ever had a drink called the Godfather?
No.
Okay,
I'm
so a
intrigued.
Godfather is like a blend. Okay, my buddy, who is much more into whiskeys and things than I am, one of his favorite drinks is he would make a Godfather, which is a blend of whiskeys or different, I don't know what all's in it. But a Godfather and B&B they taste exactly the same at the beginning and middle, and they finish slightly differently.
Okay.
But you don't have any mixing with the B&B. Let me pull it up
Okay.
and just read you the description of what it is.
I assume it's a brandy, like maybe like a brandy is
Yeah.
already fortified wine, right? So like a fortified brandy, maybe. I don't know.
All right, here it is.
I'm intrigued.
So good. So good. Okay.
Yeah, I really want to try this now. I'm gonna be honest with
And
you.
you drink it on the rocks, right? Just cold.
Mm.
Don't mix it with anything. All right, here it is. Yes, I'm legal age. Hush your mouth. Okay. Producer description. Classic blend of Benedictine herbal liqueur made by Benedictine monks since 1510 and cognac. A wistful digestive with notes of bright citrus, vanilla, oak, and herbal complexity out the wazoo. That's that. Pretty accurate.
Oh my god.
I really want to try this. So now this is the part where Derek
You know what?
researches and see if it's available on ABC store near me. So
You know what? The best part is it's not even that expensive.
it's really not. I'm
It's
seeing
not.
prices. Yeah.
It's so
Okay.
good.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Oh,
I need to get some.
yeah.
But yeah, if you are that it's like if you were a dapper gentleman like Derek, okay, and you wanted to sit down with a cigar and a sipping beverage, B&B is the perfect sipping beverage,
Okay.
right?
All
I'm
right.
so sold right now.
All right. So our new
Yeah.
goal is we all start drinking this and loving it, and we get them to sponsor us. We'll be
You know what we should
we'll
do?
be the official podcast of B&B.
Future episode, we should you guys should get a bottle. I'll get some,
Mhm.
and we could do a tasting live.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. We'll
I'm
do that.
in.
We will
Yeah.
commit. We will commit to doing that. I'll make a note.
Yeah.
Making a note.
Best stuff ever. Check it out.
B&B episode. Because I'm notorious for like, oh, we'll totally do that, and then I forget that I said that we would do that. So I've written it down. All
Oh,
right.
here's the important question before we go any further, though.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a first time testing for me and Bob? So do I have to wait, or can I go
Yes.
buy some?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Gotta wait.
Yes.
Then we'll have to communicate so we can plan this out.
Maybe we'll
as soon
do
as possible.
a special episode so we don't have to wait that long,
Yeah.
kind of
Perfect.
thing.
Perfect.
But yeah,
I love it. All right. We will see if we can get it in Alabama. Because it's a
you can
crap.
get it. If not,
It's a crapshoot sometimes. But
yeah, when you come to Georgia, it is widely available. So.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool. Speaking of liquor in Georgia, I went to Columbus, Georgia, to check out a brewery there. It's called Chattahoochee, um,
Yeah,
and their mascot's a possum. So I went and checked it out.
love it.
It was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Neat little place. All right. So we've tackled the two most important questions.
Sure. On to the easy stuff now.
Yeah. So first and foremost, you're an author.
Yes.
It's how I came to know you. Why don't you tell us first? Just give us the cliff notes of your life, just the broadest of strokes. Um, just kind of give us a slight feel for who you are, and then we'll start talking about your books.
Okay, that's tough. All right. Cliff notes, I'll tell you the kind of the most important factors in shaping who I turned out to be.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
Broad strokes. Here we go. Grew up in North Georgia. My mom went insane when I was in 5th grade. She went unmedicated for 10 years up until my early 20s, like 2021 range. So that was interesting. And then I started doing Tai Chi Chuan. Started working corporate America around the same time. Let me see. Trying to think what else I did in there. I've done a lot of stuff, right? I'm one of those people that I'm very curious And so I will read about something and do deep dive and learn everything I can about that subject. So I've done all kinds of things, but I'm trying to stick to
Yeah.
the main things, right? But yeah, corporate America, 20 years. And then I left that job to pursue writing full time.
Yeah.
So,
And that's when I met you. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I'm familiar with some of the things you get into, like hand turning pins, making
Mm. Mm.
fancy pins.
Fancy
Love
pins.
that. That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like pins. All right.
yeah,
If I had some down here, you want to see some?
yeah,
Always.
yeah.
I
Um,
think they're here.
yeah, yeah, no. Me and Ben do a lot of events together, and so he sells pens alongside his books, and so I get to see all the pretty pens, and they're real
My
awesome.
pen book.
Ooh.
Um,
So
and
I'll just show you a few.
pro tip, he does custom orders on his website.
I do custom orders. So like this guy is nice. This is a now all my materials I make my own blanks, the colored parts.
Mm-hmm.
So this is black walnut shell and purple epoxy that I turned.
Mm-hmm.
Collected that black walnut locally here in Georgia over the fall.
For those of you who are listening to this, just know that these pins are gorgeous and very, very colorful and badass.
This one's kind of cool.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
like
I
this
like
one.
that.
It's
Yeah.
probably a good thing that
Yeah.
Derek wasn't on camera for that one.
Correct. Yeah.
Fountain pen. I don't have. Let's see. I make fountain pens, ball points, roller balls. Take the tag off of this. This is one of my fountain pens. This is
Hey.
actually I made this blank 3D printed. The stripes aren't lined up. Nope. There we go.
There you go.
3D printed which is what the black stripes are. It's PLA. Then fill it in with colors, and I can do like this with different colors to get rainbow effect or anything that I wanted there. These are a big hit.
Yeah. And
But yeah,
do you have one of your shell pins? The like 50 cal shell? He's
Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry, what?
yeah, it's a pin made out of a 50 cal
That sounds
round.
awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. Atlantic
so
Comic Con was the first time he had one, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's so
so
cool.
it's a real fired 50 caliber brass, right? And then they made this blank that looks like the bullet, and you pull it out, which is great. It'll stand up on the desk nice and easy. So this is an excellent office pen kind of thing.
And it's
That
such a
doesn't
real
look like a
tone.
pen,
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, I would say,
right? It
that's so
demands
cool.
respect.
yeah.
Hey, can you hold it up again real quick?
If I walked into my boss's office and he wrote my eval,
Oh,
like
that's
signed
so
it
cool.
with a 50 caliber
Right.
pin,
Nice.
I would be real hesitant to push back on that eval.
Yeah, just having it sitting right there, like, this is what I'm gonna need you to sign this saying, yes, you did in fact receive the evaluation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's hobby. One of my many hobbies I've had over the years, but I really enjoy wood turning or
Yeah.
pin making, I guess, more specifically.
So why don't you tell us about your books?
Yeah, so currently I have a urban fantasy trilogy set in North Georgia. It's about a were otter named Obi that hunts demons for the Earth Mother.
Yep.
Long and short of it. Uses all real places. All I did change the names and locations of a few if I did bad stuff there, so nobody would sue me. And so that series is done. 3 books and a short story. That's in the trilogy right here. That's the trilogy for anybody that has the video. And I am this week. I'm pretty sure this week I'll be coming out with the first book in my new series. Pack Source 7 is the series name. It's a lit RPG, a sci-fi lit RPG. And then
You
I
got some
should have
really
a
You got some cool projects in the works.
Yeah, I keep running into problems and going, oh, this is so cool. I should write this one. It's like, but this one's so cool. I should write, and so I'm like, which one is going to win?
Yeah.
And I won't really know until I sit down. The scale writer's going to win. Scale writer's going to win. So yeah, it's
Scale Rider should win.
basically,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's a fantasy western with like dragons and gun mages in the old west, probably 1848. I think it's going to be set in. Basically, when the United States solidified as our current map of the United States, but before we really encroached on Native American territories. And I think that's where the timeline will diverge because I'm pretty sure, don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure, we'll have Lakota and Cheyennes. They don't just ride horses, they have dragons, right?
Yeah.
Which makes encroachment much more difficult. And so my main character will probably be the first white guy that gets a dragon, makes that bond with a dragon, which we'll see what happens.
Ooh.
I don't
Mm.
know.
I'm very excited about this because this sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, and I can say I've read Ben's trilogy that's out, the Keeper Chronicles, real good. And it's actually how me and Ben connected at DragonCon some years back. He was on a panel and was like, "Yeah, I write urban fantasy set in North Georgia," and I was like, "What? There's someone else writing urban fantasy set in the South. Who knew?" That's not Atlanta. There's a lot of books set in Atlanta. Um, but so I
No, but
went
you
up.
said the South, though.
Right, right. So
Right.
I went and talked to him after that, and then we started swapping emails. Um, okay, so now for the folks who are going to be listening to your reviews, what kind of genres do you typically read? Like, what's your kind of your go-to genres you like to read?
Um, I like my go-to is more fantasy than sci-fi. I don't have a problem with sci-fi. I just lean toward fantasy. I like urban fantasy when I can find books that interest me. I have a hard time doing that. I like high fantasy, but I tend to get it tends to be a little slow for my taste. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me. General fantasy leaning, just whatever appeals to me. I also read a lot of nonfiction,
Mhm.
different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what would be some of your, like, as many as you want to list, some of your top books of all time that you've enjoyed reading?
Um, this book is so good, I stole it. It was the last thing that I stole, and it was the Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Spoiler:
okay. So here's
I
the
don't think you hurt Hemingway's bottom line on that one.
yeah. To be fair, I stole it before I read it. So and then my intention was to take it. It was when my Tai Chi class I talked about. It was held in a high school, right? Like after hours in the gym kind of thing. And some kid left his copy of Old Man in the Sea in the gym completely there, like, left it behind. And I picked it up and was looking at it. And I thought, this looks really interesting. Never heard of it before, didn't know anything about it. And I thought, I'll take it home and bring it back in 2 days when I come to class. Suddenly it'll turn out they've already lost it. You know what I mean? What's 2 more days? So I took it home. It's the only book I've read ever cover to cover. I didn't intend to read it cover to cover. I just sat down and started reading that night and stayed up way too late because I read very slow, even though it's not a big book.
Same.
Uh, and I read it cover to cover, and at the end of it, it's like, sorry, kid, you're not getting this
this
back.
is mine now.
Yeah.
So yeah, last thing I ever stole, one of the best books I ever read. That was, like I said, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, Fight Club,
Okay.
fantastic.
I've read that
Love
also.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Um, let me think. Let's stop there because
Okay.
at this point I'm going to be trying to. Oh, one more. The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hobbit over Lord of the Rings. Better book,
Oh,
better story.
Yeah.
how do you feel about that, Bob?
Um,
I'll be honest, I've only read The Hobbit. I tried to read Lord of the Rings multiple times, and I couldn't get through the first book.
20-year-old Bob would have been highly offended by that. 38-year-old Bob is like, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I would say that Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, is like objectively a better written book.
But
Blah
if you
blah.
don't enjoy it
But
more, then
yeah, like that's like I don't know. The Hobbit is just such an enjoyable read, and it
Yeah.
is gets the story done. I don't know. They're both great, but yeah,
They're
I've read all
different
3 years.
things, you
Yeah,
know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it was probably 20 years ago. Was the last time I read Old Man and the Sea, but I liked it. I liked Fight Club, and I liked The Hobbit. So all right.
Yeah.
So here's the last question, unless Derek has some. But it's the most important question. On a scale of Derek to Bob,
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
with Bob being the most correct and Derek being the
Uh,
least correct, how correct would you usually say that you are? It's totally an unbiased question. You understand? It's just
If yeah,
factual.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, I see that. I
Yeah.
understand that from the scale.
Yeah.
Um, so if I am going to postulate an opinion, I will be very close to Bob levels of correct because I'm not a know-it-all. You know what I mean? If I don't know something, I'll just say I don't know. So
that's what we like to hear.
if I say something, it's probably because I've looked into it and have a pretty good idea of the subject.
Mhm.
Mm, mm,
Good.
mm.
So
Good.
close to Bob levels, very
So
far away from Derek.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Where you want to be.
my favorite part about this scale is basically the way you just described that is you described the way I am about opinions and not the way Bob is about opinions. Because Bob will just have a very strongly held opinion on something that he's like, he kind of looked at once. And then I'll be like, well, I'm not real sure about that, so I'm not going to go too hard on this. But,
Lies.
Hmm.
Lies. Um. Okay. So I feel like now our listeners they're adequately prepared for season 6. They know where we're going. We uh we have some outside accountability in Ben here who will keep us straight. Um,
keep Bob
I'll
straight.
try.
yeah, we've got a recording
Uh-oh.
schedule lined up. We've got an actual schedule. We've learned the technology. By God, um, I learned like 3 different technologies to make this happen. Because that's all I do anymore is learn new technologies to make my life easier. It's what it feels like, and yet my life is not really that any easier. Um, so yeah, so folks have a feel for Ben. They have a feel for the season. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling hyped. You will be able to hear us again in 2 weeks, and that episode will be us talking about what books we've read. And then the following one is when we will start our rotation of the short read, tall glass episodes. So if you want to partake, you have about a month to get the Alchemy of Sorrow, right? Alchemy of Sorrow? Yeah, the Alchemy of Sorrow. And read the first story, which is Lullaby by uh, K.S. Veloso. All right. So, in the coming week, as you traipse through the empty high school gym, may the books that you steal from unsuspecting high schoolers be enjoyable, life changing, and may the blessing of the beard be upon you.